Hey, how we doing, gang? Kawaii50 here, and for the last video of the year, I really felt like I should do something that we can all equally get excited over, right? Like something that everyone is just like, yes, I am freaking ready for this. That maybe the smallest subset of the FGO community is like, I am not excited for this. So most of you will be like, yes, I am excited for this. That, of course, is about the release of Senji Muramasa. And of course, we gotta do a servant breakdown. So we're going over the best allies, craft essences, and command codes to make this old man who looks like a young man a powerful force to be reckoned with on your team. Hopefully, this video helps you do just that. And if it does, be sure to go ahead, like, and subscribe. Now, our boy Muramasa comes with 1 quick, 2 arts, and 2 buster cards, with an AoE Arts Noble Phantasm. That is right. On New Year's, you are going to be arts looping like a true champion with this man. His stats are overall solid, ranking on the higher end, as you can see in the little graphic down there, and his NP per hit is also pretty dang good at a 0.59%, with 3 hits on those arts cards and the ability to arts Brave Chain. Refund chances were already fairly high, but there's going to be additional points of his kit that are going to make that chance even higher. As expected from a Saber, star absorption is exactly middle of the road, so you can expect him to get stars, just not all the time. Muramasa's first skill is Varied Styles rank B+. This grants him a 30 to 50% effectiveness boost on every single type of his cards, and also increases his critical star gather rate by 500 to 1000%. Yes, you are essentially guaranteeing that on that turn, Muramasa's getting those dang stars. And just because we can, let's go ahead and throw another 5 to 15 stars from popping this skill right on top. So if you don't have any stars, well, you got something to work with. We are going to go ahead and max this parallel with another skill, because they honestly really work in tandem together. And that skill is not Eye for Craftsmanship rank A, though not because it's bad by any means. This gives Muramasa Ignore Invincibility, and if an enemy has decided to make themselves invincible, well, Muramasa is going to punish them for that transgression, getting increased critical strength, a 50 to 100% boost against enemies who have any sort of evade or any sort of invincibility added. We can also see an increase to Muramasa's critical star drop rate, a 50 to 100% boost over 3 turns, so you're going to get some stars refunded, and Muramasa is also going to get a 3-turn critical damage boost on top of that, another 50 to 100%. We're only maxing this last because it doesn't work in tandem with the other 2 skills, but this would be a staple focus skill on basically any other servant. It's kinda nuts. And Muramasa's final skill is Flames rank EX. This is a 30 to 50% NP steroid, and we're gonna go ahead and push it even further beyond, because apparently that wasn't already good enough. This also increases Muramasa's NP gauge when normal attacking. He is going to get a 5 to 10% increase to his Noble Phantasm gauge when attacking with any card. Yes, even those 2 buster cards will refund Muramasa's Noble Phantasm, so card manipulation isn't necessarily that huge a deal for him. And with this activating likely in a chain where you're using his Noble Phantasm after he's used it, in a Brave Chain if you're super duper ideal, odds are that Noble Phantasm is getting refunded. Even if you were able to just barely not get your Noble Phantasm refunded, it doesn't really matter which card ends up following it up. Quick Arts Buster, odds are you're gonna make that little extra bit up. For Muramasa's append skills, Load Magical Energy is standard good on basically anybody, granting them a solid 10 to 20% NP gauge boost. Muramasa is no exception. And now we get to the reason that you will be playing the Emiya track on loop for literally the next month, Sumukari Muramasa. This is Muramasa's Noble Phantasm. It increases his Noble Phantasm strength by 10% for 3 turns. This activates first. It removes all offensive buffs from enemies. This also activates first before damage is dealt. And it increases Muramasa's arts card effectiveness by 10 to 30% for 3 turns. This, again, activates first, and on top of that, this is affected by overcharge. So if you're using any sort of supportive Noble Phantasm, follow up with Muramasa last, well, this is going to deal even more damage than you already thought. And if you are using Muramasa for farming, well, this means that on every single subsequent wave, Muramasa's Noble Phantasm will deal more damage because that Noble Phantasm strength boost and that arts card effectiveness boost, those stack all on top of each other. And it deals 450 to 750% damage. That damage is also defense ignoring, because as with most things in Muramasa's kit, why not? Let's just go ahead and do that. NP2 is of course the sweet spot on the vast majority of Noble Phantasms, but Muramasa's kit combined with his Noble Phantasm are so effective that you could probably get by with NP1 and be completely and utterly fine. So who to pair Muramasa with? Well, look at all those arts cards. Look at all that arts card effectiveness boost. Look at all that extra Noble Phantasm charge. You guessed it, we are pairing Muramasa with Castoria, which is honestly fairly fitting in the grand scheme of the Fate Mega Ultra multiverse. Of course, there are other characters that can support Muramasa if you are lacking your own Castoria, and we're going to go over a few potential options right now. For a freebie option that's currently on NA, I've definitely got to recommend Gaius Julius Caesar. Caesar can grant NP strength and an attack boost, as well as increase Muramasa's critical strength and critical star drop rate even further beyond. So this can be fairly effective. On top of that, Caesar is also a saber. So on turns when you don't get Muramasa's cards popping up, you can at least use Caesar for a little bit of damage. An upcoming character I would like to recommend to pair with Muramasa is Zhu Fu, and Zhu Fu is able to provide Muramasa with a pretty dang decent level of support, even though the bulk of her extra supports go towards Yume Ren, kind of a Nobukatsu Nobunaga situation. But Zhu Fu is still able to provide Muramasa with an NP gain boost, some HP restore, a debuff cleanse, arts card effectiveness, and a critical strength boost. She can also increase a little bit of Noble Phantasm gauge, increase Muramasa's buff removal resist, and of course grant a bunch of critical stars off of her Noble Phantasm, which Muramasa will gladly take and use for the rest of the fight. If we're mentioning Art Saber support, of course I want to recommend Prince of Lan Ling. This is kind of a no-brainer, same in the vein of Caesar. Lan Ling is a Saber class servant himself, so whatever you're taking Muramasa to fight, odds are Lan Ling is going to be able to fight it fairly decently as well. And of course, Lan Ling has some incredible arts focus boosts, granting arts card effectiveness, critical star drop rate, critical strength, a targeted NP gauge boost, and an overall attack for all allies. He can also provide yet again another further attack boost off of his Noble Phantasm and give everyone a damage cut, which Muramasa will gladly take, because if you haven't noticed this yet when we went over his skills, he has no way to avoid any sort of damage. No evade, no guts, no defense boost, nothing. So Muramasa is going to be entirely reliant on whoever is fighting alongside him to protect him. He is not concerned with that. He is just concerned with cutting things up with his katana. And for a final recommendation, Da Vinci Rider, mainly for her Dream Upon the Star skill, which can grant Muramasa NP strength, an NP gauge boost, and increase Muramasa's NP overcharge level, which translates into an even stronger arts card effectiveness boost. Let's talk craft essences. For Muramasa, we are going to want to mainly focus on arts card effectiveness. That is the main thing that is going to help continue to push his overall damage. We can, of course, focus on some other secondary stats. NP gain is just always nice, especially if you have a multi-noble phantasm level Muramasa. This can help you push into those extra percentages beyond 100%. Starting NP gauge also never really hurt anyone. NP strength is, of course, another one of the ideals we want to go for. You can even, if you feel confident in your Muramasa's damage, forego arts card effectiveness for noble phantasm strength in its entirety because of how Muramasa's noble phantasm works. Painting Summer is going to be my freebie recommendation for you, granting arts card effectiveness, NP gain, and that starting NP gauge. You should have grabbed this back in the FGO Servant Summer Festival event. Of course, the absolute peak when it comes to any arts card servants farming, which I recommend endlessly because it still just hasn't been surpassed, is the Black Grail. Muramasa is going to see an 80% NP strength boost. If you are taking Muramasa to farm, odds are this is what's going to help him just end fights immediately with Sumukari Muramasa. I'd also definitely like to recommend Mark on a Smiling Face. This grants arts card effectiveness, NP gain, and NP strength. This will likely be a effective go-to for you if you are pulling Muramasa to fight challenge quests, because with the way he gets those stacking buffs from his Noble Phantasm, even though it's an AoE Noble Phantasm, that allows him to continually grow stronger, as well as continually keep some sort of buff up when fighting enemies in challenge quests as well. And now we get to command codes. To start with, I definitely would like to recommend Star Absorption on Muramasa's arts cards in particular. Yes, Muramasa has his own way to go ahead and increase his Star Absorption thanks to his first skill, but if that ends up falling off in any sort of way, you know, maybe you're waiting on it to cool down, maybe buffs just haven't lined up, we still want a way for stars to go to those arts cards so Muramasa can reliably continue to charge and unleash his Noble Phantasm. Immature Illusionary Command Seal is usually the go-to for arts card Star Absorption, but you can put this on, like, any Star Absorption card is fine. Basically anything that's like, I will draw stars to this card, works on Muramasa's arts cards. Of course, there are other things we can recommend. I quite like Blades of Niton Doraku on Muramasa, not just for flavor, but because increasing the critical damage on his Buster cards is going to be another very helpful bonus to help push him even further beyond. I also like things like Fine Sword on him. This grants Ignore Invincibility when attacking using the engraved card. Again, one of Muramasa's skills already covers this, but that skill isn't going to be up forever. So having chances to hit your opponent when you don't have that skill active is going to be a pretty dang good boon. Plus, this can also help you when it comes to challenge quests, avoiding you necessarily needing to put an Ignore Invincibility on Muramasa for his damage, and instead opt in for something like the CEs we mentioned earlier. Overall, gang, Muramasa is just an incredible gift from the development team to us. He is an absolute powerhouse. His first skill granting bonuses to all of his cards, granting Star Absorption and stars, being able to ignore invincibility as well as punish enemies for daring to think they can put up a defensive buff in his presence, somehow an even stronger 50% NP steroid, and a Noble Phantasm that just keeps making Muramasa stronger the more that he uses it. Legitimately, the only flaw in Muramasa's kit is the fact that he has no real way to protect himself. But with the way you're going to end up using Muramasa, that is not even an issue in the least. You are going to be pulling in supports to help keep him alive, to help heal him, give him evades, give him invincibilities, whatever you need to do to ensure that he is able to be out there and keep fighting. Muramasa is so overwhelmingly powerful, such a commanding force on the battlefield, that not only does this do Shiro fans a great service, Shiro fans like myself admittedly, but I also have absolutely no qualms outright saying that Senji Muramasa is the best Saber class servant in the entire game. But of course, I want to know what you all think, so let me know your thoughts on Muramasa down in the comment section below. Let me know if you think there are any allies, craft essences, or command codes that I might have missed, and let me know who you might pair Muramasa with. If you've used Muramasa on JP and have used him in challenge quests, go ahead and share your experience down below as well. If you want to talk more Fate Grand Order, of course my Discord server is always open, link down in the description below. And big thanks to patrons on Patreon, subscribers and followers on Twitch, and all of you here on YouTube. All of your support is what leads to me continuing to make these videos, and I quite honestly appreciate it. Reading your comments, hearing your support, it never fails to make me smile. Anyways, gang, that's it for me, Kawaii50. I hope you all have a phenomenal day, and at the time this video is to release, a phenomenal end of the year. And I'll see y'all in the next year.